Okay, dear class, here I am. Okay, so I bring up Photoshop and open, and I'm going to bring up Becca's bug. Thank you, Becca, for that contribution. It sure has been helpful. And Becca's bug, alphabetically put there. Great. Okay. Once it's opened, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate that, and I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise because that's the way it looks like it needs to go. Here I have Navigator open. If you go to Windows, you can see there's Navigator, and Navigator is nice. I don't really use it that much, but it can get into things, and then you can move this little thing around so you can kind of get where you want. And if you want to get back to the size that you want, there you go. It's back again. Oh, it went really small. Okay, or better yet, just do Command 0. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is show you that you can do a lot of layers. I'm going to keep this layer always just as this picture alone. So I can add other layers. If you're looking down here at the layer box, down here on the right side, I can add more layers by this box right here where it says create a new layer. Okay, and I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my background layer though, because this is where I'm going to always be making my selections so that I can, draw this. First of all, I'm going to just go ahead and select the outside, and now that outside I can now color the outside of this, but that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to go over here, select, and do inverse so that only my bug is selected. Now I'm going to come over here to layer 1, and I'm just going to choose this a color that's kind of a brown color just to start with, because if you'd watched Zach's YouTube example that he showed me, you would see that they gave it a neutral color first, the bug, and that's a really great idea, and I picked up on that. And then just go ahead and paint bucket that. Okay, so we've got this nice brown color on top of this background. Now, we've got all those marching selection ants, like they call them marching ants, around, and just to stop that, you can just Command D. Okay, so on this layer, we're going to give it, I think it's called an attribution right here, where you have these, where it says normal. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to just put multiply, and that way you can see the lines through it, because this layer right here has got this multiply. I can also change the opacity in it so I can make it lighter, but I don't want to do that. I just want to keep that color for right now. Okay, I'm going to add another layer on top of that, and every single color that I assign to a certain particular place, I am going to have a layer so that I can control that color exactly how I want it to be. So I'll go back to the background layer, because that one is where my image is, where I can make my selection. I'm going to just take the eyeball off here so that you can't see this right now, so I can just figure out what I want to select. So I go over here to my magic wand tool, and I go ahead and I select my piece, and I'm going to make sure that that's also I have an add to selection up here on the left top corner, so that I can select more than just one thing. Okay, when I've got that done, now I'm going to go up here to my layer 2 and decide on how I'm going to color this. And I think that I'm going to also add this background so it can help me to kind of see what colors I should go. I'm going to go a little bit lighter. Maybe I'll even go green. Why not? Okay. I'm going to go dark green. I really don't know what I'm going to do. I'll just see what happens. Okay, then I go ahead and get a brush. Now I can also click over here on this, and it's called the airbrush. All right, the airbrush is a nice tool. It kind of gives it a nice little softer edge to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just create some greens in here, just as I want to. But I'm also thinking about shading, mottled shading. Okay, see, so here you have it up here. Now I'm going to give it another layer, because I'm going to put another color on top of that so I can control that too. And I'm just going to go a little bit darker, and going darker I can come in and kind of get so that it looks like it's been shady, and this helps get that kind of that 3D look that you saw happening in that little YouTube video that I thought was really just a great little video. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and give another layer up here, and I'm going to assign this to a very light color so I can get some of that, what we call the highlight. Okay, now that's going to be really too bright, but I can show you how important it is that you assign these to different layers. Okay, now I'm going to do Command D so it stops selecting, and if I go back up to this layer right here that and take off the eye so that you can see that I have just that highlight there, here I can go ahead and I can change the opacity to make it not so bright. I could also change this if I wanted to and just make it lighten, which didn't do anything. Maybe darker color, or maybe overlay. I like overlay. Okay, so, or else maybe they didn't work at all, and a lot of times it doesn't. It's probably better just to go ahead with your opacity. Or if you don't like it at all, just take the eyeball off and start over with another layer. So you can see how important it is that you use layer upon layer upon layer as you do the color, and that you always keep this background always free from any work, so that you can use it as a, oh, I'm making a video, use it as a reference for your selections. And that's all, so enjoy.